welcome to another episode of the Daily Medicine. My name is Adam, and today the doc is bringing you a message on COVID-19 virulence that is starting to increase daily. Please watch, share, and feel free to ask questions. God bless. Peace.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Mark Johnson coming in with your daily medicine for the day. So today I wanted to revisit COVID, more specifically going over some of the new variants and really going over the new issues with the vaccines and things of that nature. So I'm going to actually start off there because I've actually had a lot of people ask me about certain aspects of the vaccine, namely about the rates of people going in the hospital due to severe effects from the vaccine, and as well as how many people have died from the vaccine. And so, first, the amount of people who have had severe, what we call anaphylactic reactions, out of the percentage of people who have gotten it in this country, is about 60 million people approximately that have gotten this vaccine either from Pfizer or Moderna, and definitely less than 1%, a very minute amount of people have had anaphylactic reaction, meaning that classic sign when you know somebody who's allergic to peanuts and they kind of blow up, they can't breathe, they get bad rash, they're just in bad shape. And so that's only a tiny fraction of those people, and that's usually the same rates with a lot of other vaccines that we've taken throughout our lives. As far as the deaths, that is really complicated to say, because much like with the length of immunity and how effective this will be 5 years from now, attributing something like death to a vaccine is difficult because there's many factors that go into that. So I've seen some reports where it's been like 181 people in the U.S. have died from. I've seen where it's maybe like 40 to 50 people have died. Also, one story and tragic passing got into the news where OBGYN down in Florida tragically passed away 2 weeks after the COVID vaccine. He actually had a very significant brain bleed. And so right now, Pfizer is investigating that. They, of course, have said they don't see the link. They're still doing a full medical examiner, autopsy, etc., to see. One thing I will note is since he had a brain bleed, you have to be concerned that his blood got too thinned. And there are some parameters in your blood clotting ability that they've seen with the vaccine, and more so in children. But yet again, they noticed this in folks, 4 or 6 weeks after the vaccine. Had some abnormal lab values in their blood count. And so that could possibly be linked to that. We don't know, okay? And so number one thing is with COVID, everybody, we have got to keep stuff in perspective, meaning we've got to stay focused on the big picture with this. Millions upon millions of people have gotten sick from this, have required hospital from this disease. About 2 million people on this planet have died from this. About over 440,000 Americans have died from this. And out of the 60 million people that have received this vaccine, we're talking about a very, very small fraction, not to minimize any of their lives, but if we keep it in the big picture, that you can't say it's just because of the vaccine, because these are typical statistics you see with a lot of vaccines. And so I don't want you to get discouraged from this, because if we don't do something, especially slow down the spread, things like what we're going to talk about will keep happening. Okay, they will keep happening. So I'm going to load up some things on the variants and mutations of SARS-CoV-2, which causes the coronavirus disease of 2019 or COVID-19. And so when I go through these mutations, I'm not going to go through every single one of them because, despite what you see in the media, there's thousands of registered mutations and variants to this virus. But I want to start off with one important one. It's a notable mutation. It was one of the first main mutations we dealt with this virus, and it's D as in dog 614G. Now, if I keep looking over, it's because I've got my database with all these numbers and letters, so I don't tell y'all the wrong thing. And so this was one of the main mutations we started to see in this virus, okay? And all of these, for the most part, all of the major mutations in the SARS-CoV-2 virus comes from the part of the virus that sticks to us, and it's called the spike protein. So remember, I've said before, the reason we call it coronavirus is because if you put it under an electron microscope where you can see it in full living color, okay, it's round and it has a bunch of little spikes on it, like the crown that a king wears, and that's why we call it coronavirus. Corona meaning crown, okay? So the spike protein is the main target. And the main issue throughout this whole epidemic or pandemic, excuse me. So remember, the spike protein gets into your body, attaches to several receptors, namely the ACE2 receptor, which is found in pretty much every part of your body. Okay, and that's what a main issue is with it. And when we started to find mutations like the D614G mutation, which was the first notable one, we started noticing that there may have been a link between that mutation and it being able to be more contagious and infectious to us. Meaning once it gets in, it sticks hard to that ACE2 receptor, because once it hits that receptor, everybody, it goes into your cell. Okay, so all the military and all that's flowing in your blood at all times, okay, it's hiding in one of those cells. It's hiding in the walls of the arteries. It's hiding in different places to not be killed. It doesn't want to be killed, okay? And technically, it's really not trying to kill you. It's just trying to live. So if you don't kill it, then it won't kill you, okay? That's a philosophical point there. And so once we started seeing this, we started noticing that the symptom associated with it, and the more common symptom we started noticing in a lot of places with this specific mutation, was the loss of taste and smell. Now, just a quick physiology lecture on this, or lesson, is 75% of what you perceive as flavor and taste comes from your smell. Your olfactory nerve is the nerve that registers smells, and it's right at the top of your nose. If you go straight up, keep going up, and you hit a little plate of thin bone, that's your olfactory nerve, okay? Now, once COVID gets up in there, okay, what it can do is, one, the tissue around it, it can cause a whole lot of fluid to come there and kind of obstruct that nerve. Now, that's one of the reasons you lose your sense of smell and taste whenever you get an infection here, or whenever you have bad allergies and you have a lot of gunk and mucus just blocking that air from getting to your olfactory nerve, okay? And so that can affect your taste as well. And so when we started seeing that, that lets us think, okay, maybe it's able to survive in that area more. Now, what y'all have to realize is right here in most mammals like us, like cats, like dogs, okay, if you don't think there's a ton of your military right here and in your mouth at all times, you are delusional, okay? You have got stuff that's coming into your face 24/7 in the form of air or whatever, okay? And you need things there to be able to clear that stuff out. So for the fact that that thing is able to survive in that area for that long is truly concerning to a lot of docs, because what that means is it's getting more time to mutate, okay? It's getting time to mutate. That means it's not getting killed fast enough, and then we as a animal horde are not doing enough to make it inhospitable for the virus to survive. Okay, so really follow me on this, guys. When we allow viruses to keep spreading, okay, each person that virus is in is a different human being. So there's a different set of things you've got to go against. So it's almost like, look, the National Guard in California is probably vastly different, similar, but vastly different from like South Dakota and North Dakota's Guard, okay? The military in Canada is probably extremely different from the military in Colombia, okay? Catch my drift? And so with that being said, the more we let this thing spread unabated, and making it political to where people are like, I'm not going to wear a mask, I'm not going to slow, whatever, I'm not going to do this, not going to do that. The viruses are going to go into one person and spread and mutate a billion different times within that person. One of them may work. One of them may be advantageous. And maybe that's the one that survives. So then it gets out and spreads to somebody else. And maybe that sticks to the next person. And then to the next person, and then to the next person. And then all of a sudden that person, that last person who got it, is not only in North Dakota anymore, but now they're in Florida. And one person that catches it in Florida decides to go to the UK and then bam, spreads it there. And somebody in the UK all of a sudden decides to take a trip to say, I don't know, Italy or Russia or Australia. You get my drift. And it's able to mutate and mutate and mutate. So this is what I'm saying, everybody. Viruses do this. This is how viruses survive. They mutate, they mutate, they mutate until something works, something sticks, and it goes on. Case in point, SARS-1. Okay? SARS-1 killed people like far more than SARS-CoV-2. It just did. Okay? It was murking people. It murked people enough to where it wasn't able to spread because people were getting so sick from it that people were not able to spread it around because they couldn't just walk outside. No, they could barely breathe. They were laying down sick, all this other stuff. SARS-CoV-2 ain't murking people like that. However, it's doing just enough to keep people mobile and active to spread itself. And then it's able to mutate and get better, get stronger, get more what we call virulent or powerful. Okay, this is how this works, everybody. There's got to be a sweet spot, and this is why these things mutate and do all this other stuff. So then we have this D614G mutation. So now it's able to stick in a lot of different people of a lot of different backgrounds and a lot of different DNA profiles. Okay, hence why the epidemics, SARS in early 2000s, didn't become a pandemic. Okay, but since SARS-CoV-2 has become a pandemic, still can kill people, who's going to kill more people at the end of the day? The one that's able to infect more people and get a few people, or the one that'll drop a bomb on one little area, but that's the only area it's going to kill? Man, makes you think, doesn't it? A lot of things on this planet want to live just like us. A lot of things on this planet have been doing this for a long time. A lot of things on this planet have figured us out. Okay, so before you want to go ahead and say, oh, they created this was created in a lab, or this and that, and this worldwide conspiracy. Look, none of that matters right now. We can figure that out later. It really doesn't matter. At some point, you got to realize that Mother Nature is the ruler of this planet. It just is. Get over it. Accept it. Don't fight it. Accept it. Earth is more powerful than humans. Every which way you want to quantify it, any way you want to quantify it, the earth is more powerful. The things it creates is more powerful than us, okay? We adapt to it. That's the key. We adapt to it, okay? What's another way these things can mutate, okay? Another way these things can mutate is they can jump from different animals. That's what the flu does. The flu does that incredibly well, okay? It jumps from like pigs to cows and birds to humans. and it's able to go through all that. And then every so often, there's one that just gets us every so often. Okay, H1N1, and then we had the pandemic in the early 1900s. There's been flu spikes here and there throughout the century, the past century. Okay, this is how this works, guys. No doctor on this planet should sit here with a straight face and tell you we're shocked that we're in a pandemic right now, because we're not. This was coming. This was definitely coming. Okay, and so we have that first variant, and so now in the UK we hear this big, the big UK variant. Oh my God, the big UK variant. Okay, and so the number for that, the most important number, is the N501Y mutation. Okay, so this is the troublesome one. Okay, and this is what I'm talking about. The more we let this thing spread, the more we let it experiment in different people, this is what's going to happen. And don't fool yourselves, guys. It's called the UK variant. That thing was probably here before that, before it was finally seen in the UK. Okay. And then you start hearing about places in the United States where you see these same variants. Guys, that thing was probably here, because the United States is a petri dish right now. Okay. If we did cultures on everybody, it'd be all kind of crazy mutations we can find out. So the problem with this one is, the theory is that same spike protein has mutated a little bit more. Okay. With SARS-CoV-2, the tighter it can bind to the ACE2 receptors and other receptors, the better it can evade your immune system, the better it can do its thing, the better it can replicate and stick in a person. Okay. And the tighter it's able to bond to your ACE2 receptor, the more difficult it becomes for your body to fight it, especially when, as we map this out, because we don't know everything that this thing does. A lot of this is theory. Okay. But if it's able to stick into your system longer, it's able to evade your immune system longer, it's able to cause more and more damage. And there's even reports now with some of these new variants and them becoming more prevalent. Is this virus actually kind of turning your body into the site of the Civil War, where it's causing your body to not only kill it, but then all of a sudden attack yourself? And this is why people are having symptoms weeks, months, and months out from the initial infection. That's a theory going on right now. But why? Why is this happening? And I want to say this again. With this UK variant, it's more infectious, more contagious. Therefore, it's going to kill more people because it's infecting more people, and it probably will lead to more deaths. Okay? Why is this happening? Because we are letting it spread because people are stupid. Okay? People are ignorant. People are really not looking at the big picture, hands down. So like I told, if you're watching this, if you watch these videos, you know what I'm going to say. Pass this to people who are being morons about COVID. Hey, really, just pass it to people who are being morons about COVID. Okay? Because this is a real thing. And really, if we look at this variant is here. It's probably here in a greater number than we realize. Will it mutate to something more powerful? Statistically, probably will. If we don't slow it down, if we keep doing what we're doing, if we don't put pressure on it, meaning make it harder for the virus to get in us. Get vaccines, put a mask on to make it harder for that virus to get in and stick. One big thing that I tell people to do all the time, take vitamin D. Get your vitamin D level checked and take vitamin D if you need more vitamin D. Because we're starting to see a link between poor vitamin D and what? Death from COVID. Take care of your body. Okay, if you're doing a lot of craziness to your body, you're not in good shape already, fix that, because you're the person that COVID kills. Okay, and yet again, whenever we do all these antibodies, monoclonal antibodies and all that, you're going to get a level of a virus that will escape from all those antibodies, and those are the mutations that stick. So this UK variant may well have come from, us treating people with convalescent plasma and things of that nature, and they're able to escape those antibodies. Why? Because your immune system, what it does is once it realizes the virus is there, it's going to make antibodies to the most prevalent sites. Okay, so there's different parts of the spike protein that your body makes antibodies to. Okay, Moderna and Pfizer pretty much line up the most specific parts of the spike protein. And that's why it's still, what they're reporting is a lot of these variants, it still works. It's just not working as well. Okay. That's why we keep saying if you do your vaccine, still do social distancing, wear a mask, because that will decrease the rate of mutations and the ability to block a lot of these, what we call neutralizing antibodies you get from the vaccine. Okay. So that's the UK variant. And then you have another one, the South African variant. Okay. 501.B2. Okay. This one is similar to the UK one in the sense of it's more contagious, it's more transmissible. So it survives a little bit better in environments. It survives a little bit more in your nasal passages, in your mouth, things like that, so you can spread it to others. And that's the name of the game for the coronavirus, everybody. That's what it's trying to do, okay? Because if it kills more people rapidly, it can actually shoot itself in the foot. If you kill enough people rapidly, those people don't have enough time to spread it. Hence why you don't hear about SARS-CoV-1 or MERS, M-E-R, okay, which is like the COVID-1 1.5, okay, and SARS-CoV-2 is 2.0. Yet again, Moderna is reporting that their vaccine is not as effective against the South African variant. Pfizer is reporting that they're still effective against that variant. However, reading the study, it was kind of a weak study, so I'm not putting a lot of stock into that. The only way we're going to find out is to get mass amount of studies after a lot of people have been vaccinated. Okay. Now, if you're going to ask me which one am I worried about the most, it's probably the Japan and Brazil variants. Okay. That is pretty much the combination of the South African with the UK. So I'm going to read this off. So South African has a 5.1.V2, and the main mutation is the E484K. Well, for Japanese and Brazil variants, they have both the N501Y that the UK has, plus the South African E484K. Meaning that more than likely it's probably more and more contagious and infectious. So if you get the virus, your higher chance to having a COVID syndrome that's asymptomatic goes down. Because the more, yet again, I'm going to keep saying this, y'all. I'm going to keep saying this. I'm not making this up. This is how this works. Okay? The more it's given time to grow in different populations, in different petri dishes we call countries, especially the ones that don't care about anything, like certain states in this country, it's going to naturally evolve to become more infectious. It's going to want to be able to stick in more people. So the people who are asymptomatic with the original strains, you may get sick with one of these variants. You just might, okay? We are seeing some people who have had COVID in this last spring, a year ago, are getting sick with some of these guys. They're getting sick. Why? Because there's enough variation in the spike protein from what their antibodies are in their body to fool it or to just totally bypass it altogether. It happens, guys. It happens. Okay. Coronaviruses, there's a billion of them in the family we call coronaviruses, okay? And a lot of them we think of as the common cold. You ever wonder why you keep getting the common cold? You ever wonder why the cold is very common? It's the thing mutates. Virus. It's a totally different virus. The next time you see a common cold virus, it's a totally different virus probably. Might have came from the same ancestor. It's a totally different virus. And you get sick. Why? Because schools and military bases and hospitals and nursing homes and locker rooms and houses are petri dishes, guys. It's experiments. By what? Mother Nature. Okay? Just is. So we're talking about variations, and yet again, I'm not going to go too broad detail into these. I'm telling y'all these main ones, but honestly, in about 4 months or so, it might be 5 different ones that are causing problems. Might be far worse than this. If we do not try to mitigate this, to reduce the spread, reduce the transmission, it's simple. It's simple. It is. It's simple. Okay. Lockdowns are difficult. I get that. Wearing a mask, not being stupid is simple. Maybe not for some, you can't fix stupid in some people, but if you wear a mask, if you slow this down and you don't give it time to replicate, if you don't give it time to figure us out, then guess what? Guess what? It's going to win. It's going to keep winning. It's going to keep killing people. Okay? Because of COVID, there was 3 million people in this country who died. Okay? That is one of the highest stats that this country has ever seen since we started counting it. 3 million being of everything, car accidents, all millions of people have died. Brothers and sisters that we call Americans have died. And about 400,000 and some change is from a virus that some people want to be stupid with. Yeah, if you wanted people, I'm talking to you. Seriously, I am talking to you. Okay? I don't want to hear all this other BS about it. Look, I don't. Okay? It's a simple fact. There's a virus. It's winning. It's mutating. It's winning. It's mutating again, and it's winning. Where have we won? Tell me. I'll wait. You can tell me anytime during this whole broadcast. Tell me any numerical fact that you can say we are beating this virus, because we're not. Not right now. Only 60 million people have been vaccinated, roughly. Okay? What did I tell y'all before? 60% of the United States needs to be vaccinated to have so-called herd immunity. 60 million ain't it, y'all. 60 million ain't it. Okay? We're one of the biggest countries on the planet. 60 million. What? Let's go to some of the smaller states, okay, that don't have as many people. So if we go to like a North Dakota, and I apologize for anybody who is from North Dakota if I mess this stat up. Look, there's probably a little over 700 and some thousand people in North Dakota. Okay, one of the crazy stats I saw for it was this: 1 in 600 North Dakota citizens will be infected and test positive for COVID. Okay. Oh, I'm not sorry. Not test positive. Die. I'm sorry. Die from COVID. 1 in 8 will test positive. Okay. Let me say that again because I messed that up. 1 in 8 people in North Dakota will test positive for COVID. 1 in 600 will die. Not that many. There's not that many people. Okay, that's like the population of New Orleans. That might be. I don't think there's as many people in North Dakota as there is in some major cities. And imagine 1 in 8 people. 1 in 8 people. What? 1 in 8. Think about a whole school. Okay. Think about several schools. 1 in 8 people is going to get sick. And then 1 in 600 is going to die. Are you cool with that? Because you don't want to wear a mask? Really? Really? Only a few people on this planet that have a legit reason for not wearing a mask. Only a few, okay? Let me tell you, asthma ain't one of them. Asthma's not one of them. That's why I did that lecture. Y'all, asthma ain't one of those reasons, okay? Asthma is not a chronic breathing problem 24/7. Asthma is an overreaction to certain stimuli in the environment. I've had professors that have terrible COPD because they smoke like freight trains when I was training. I know people with bad asthma who were surgeons. Surgeons got to wear a mask all day. Let me tell y'all that again. I know surgeons. Okay, and if y'all didn't realize this, doctors, we're normal human beings. Okay, we got the same physiology, we got the same blood, we got a heart that beats, brain that works. I got surgeons doing high-level surgery on individuals to fix them. They literally have their life in, they have somebody else's life in their hands. They got to wear a mask all day. Okay? Same mask people are wearing, the same ones we wear. Okay? Except the super high fancy ones were not trying to get exposed to tuberculosis and COVID and other stuff. Regular little surgical masks. Y'all got to see the big picture with this. Y'all got to see it. Okay? There's doctors on this planet. There's healthcare professionals, biomedical researchers that have been working on getting rid of this thing, getting it under control since day one. Okay, we need help. We need help because this is going to keep mutating. This is going to keep mutating. Okay, and it's going to win if it hits that right mutation. You hear me? It hits that right mutation. We are playing Russian roulette, and that's no joke. Okay, this thing has truly figured us out. It has learned lessons from other viruses that it's related to. So remember, it has a spike protein. That's what attaches to our ACE2 receptor. It also attaches to other stuff too. That spike protein is kind of a catch-all for a lot of other things. We're seeing it play out that it's able to trick our immune system. We're trying to figure out how exactly it does that. We've seen that it can neutralize some of our immune cells. Okay. There's theories that it actually causes an autoimmune disease like rheumatoid arthritis. Like I was saying, it causes almost like a civil war inside of you. That's why you're sick for so long. Compared to SARS-CoV-1 and SARS-CoV-2, SARS-CoV-2 actually may not bind as strong to the ACE2 receptor like SARS-1. Okay, why? Because there's evidence showing that the spike protein may be in a literal different position than SARS-CoV-1, which will trick or evade a lot of stuff within your lungs, within your body. One mutation, guys. One mutation. I don't know what else to tell you. This is one mutation, guys. And look what it's caused. It's just getting stronger. The more it gets infectious, the more contagious it gets. Guess what? The more opportunities it gets to become deadlier. That's all these variants have to deal with. This is something, it's so y'all want to know with the numbers and stuff with all these variants. Look, grand scheme of things, big picture, this thing is growing. It's rapidly progressing as a true virulent monster if we let it. So the next time you see somebody being an idiot, show them this video or just say, hey, you're being dumb. Look out for the greater good. Okay? Look out for the greater good. because this thing is winning. It's going to keep winning until it can't anymore. Okay? That means we're either exhausted and done, or we beat it. Hopefully it's the latter. Okay, everybody? So just to wrap this up, guys, we have many variants: UK variant, South American, Brazilian, Japanese. All of them essentially make the virus more stable, more contagious, more infectious, meaning it's going to get into you. You have a greater chance of having some type of reaction or syndrome from it, whether it be mild to moderate or severe, and you're in the hospital. And these mutations are going to get stronger, far more deadlier if we let it. You still have to do your thing. So 3 things you can do. Don't crowd with people. Wear a mask. Once the vaccine gets available, get the vaccine. We've got to slow this down. That's the crux of this. We've got to slow it down. I don't want to hear about, oh, I ain't going to take this. I ain't going to take that shot because it kills. No, those stats are about equal to every other shot. Okay. And in the grand scheme of things, everybody, not to minimalize this, but if you're the person who minimalized, oh, well, it only killed 0.1% of people, so why are we doing all this for COVID? Or, oh, well, this isn't as bad as H1N1, blah, blah. Shut up. It is. But, guys, the long-term ramifications, and I guarantee you guys, the long-term ramifications of this virus is bad. So this is going to keep going. Do your part. Get vaccinated. Put on a mask. Socially distanced from everybody. Have virtual Super Bowl parties. I don't care. Okay? Because a lot of people are working hard, working as fast as possible to try to figure this out, to beat this. And we're only human. Okay? And we can only go so long, so far, and so hard. Okay, you guys, you got to help us out. You got to help the medical community out. I don't know what else to tell you. You got to help us out because we're trying. You're trying. We're trying. Okay. You can ask my fiance. There's probably at least an hour or 2 dedicated to COVID literature, research, etc. on my part. Okay. This is my job. This is what I have to do. Okay. I want to do it. Okay. I don't like people just dying for no reason. No doctor does. Okay. So that's it for the variants, guys. If y'all got questions, just email me and I'll address it at the next episode. Okay. I just wanted to get this out just because people were asking me. Okay. And yet again, I'll say just look at the big picture. At the end of the day, the variants are going to come. They're going to be more ferocious and virulent as time goes on. Okay. And next week, we'll get back to high blood pressure. Okay. Signs and symptoms, what the numbers mean. Okay. Why is it important? Some of the history behind high blood pressure. Okay. And over time, what I want y'all to realize and what I'm doing here is you're looking at high blood pressure. You're going over lung disease. The reason I'm going over that is I'm trying to link the pieces together. Why do we keep saying people who are obese or have high blood pressure or heart issues are at risk for complications from this virus? And yet again, if you remember last time, millions of people in this country have high blood pressure. Wow. We have the highest death rate from COVID, the highest amount of people dead from COVID. Throwing that out there. Okay. Asterisk goes to China because they stopped reporting their numbers, so they don't count. But just throwing that out there. Okay. So this is Dr. Mark Johnson. This has been your Daily Medicine. I'll see you next week. Peace.